I always believed that my life was a series of carefully planned routines, each day meticulously logged in my digital calendar, each hour accounted for. I prided myself on my discipline and order. Mornings were for coffee and reading the news, afternoons were for work in a modest but respectable office, and evenings were spent in the quiet comfort of my small apartment. I rarely deviated from this routine, and the predictable cadence of my life had always given me a sense of security. Until one day, almost by accident, I discovered something that would shatter that illusion of control. It began on an otherwise unremarkable Tuesday. I was sitting at my desk, preparing for the day's tasks, when my eyes caught a calendar entry that I didn't remember creating. Hidden away among the appointments and reminders was a single, enigmatic note written in a handwriting I did not recall using. It read, "Getaway confirmation, escape to bliss, weekend retreat. Confirmation code, Phoenix." At first, I assumed it was a scheduling error, perhaps a remnant of a long-forgotten daydream or a misclicked appointment. But as I scrolled through previous weeks, I discovered that I had several similar entries, all marked with the same vague language: midnight escape, secret retreat, hidden getaway. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I began to wonder, was I subconsciously orchestrating my own escapes from the monotony of everyday life? Had I, over the years, developed a hidden pattern of midnight hotel stays, a series of secret getaways that even I could not fully recall? I felt a tumult of emotions: curiosity, confusion, even a twinge of fear. My heart pounded as I clicked on the confirmation email that had arrived in my inbox the previous night. The email itself was sparse, a few elegantly formatted lines confirming a getaway at an upscale resort, with details such as check-in time at 12:01 a.m., a private room reserved under my name, and a cryptic instruction to embrace the night. There was no sender name except for a simple Phoenix Escapes. I stared at it for what felt like an eternity, trying to remember when I might have agreed to such a plan. But no matter how hard I searched my memory, nothing surfaced. The realization was both startling and oddly exhilarating. Over the past few months, and perhaps even years, I had unknowingly been slipping away at midnight, booking lavish hotel rooms and spending hours in the anonymity of opulent spaces, all without a clear recollection of why or how. Had I become addicted to the thrill of the unknown, to the seductive promise of disappearing into a world of luxury and mystery? The thought both terrified and fascinated me. Determined to find answers, I began to comb through my digital history. I searched my email, my booking confirmations, even my credit card statements. Sure enough, there were multiple confirmations for hotel stays at high-end resorts in different cities, all with check-in times hovering just after midnight. There were also vague itineraries for getaway retreats that I had never consciously planned. The evidence was irrefutable. A hidden pattern had emerged, a secret life that I had been living under the cover of darkness. At first, I felt betrayed by my own mind. How could I have let such a secret habit develop without even noticing? The more I dug, the more I began to suspect that these midnight escapes were not merely random acts of rebellion or a desperate bid for solitude. They were a deeply ingrained part of me, a hidden facet of my identity that had yearned to break free. Perhaps, in the quiet hours of the night, I sought something more than just a respite from the drudgery of routine. I was chasing an elusive taste of freedom, a brush with a more glamorous, unbridled existence. That night, I lay awake in bed, the confirmation email still glowing on my phone screen. I wondered what it would be like to revisit those secret getaways, what secrets they held, what emotions they had stirred, and most importantly, who I might have become in those fleeting hours of escape. As the first light of dawn crept through my window, I made a decision. I would follow the breadcrumbs my past had left for me, even if it meant confronting parts of myself I had long suppressed. I took a deep breath, locked my door, and stepped out into the cool morning air with a mix of trepidation and resolve. I knew that the journey ahead would force me to examine the hidden patterns of my life and perhaps redefine what freedom truly meant. My first instinct was to retrace the steps of these midnight escapes. I remembered one particular confirmation, one that had arrived on a rainy Friday night. The email confirmed a getaway at Celeste Residences, an upscale hotel in a bustling city known for its vibrant nightlife. I recalled vaguely checking into that hotel, the anonymity of a discreet, dimly lit lobby, the hushed conversations in the hallway, and the intoxicating scent of expensive cologne mingled with the promise of secrets. Though my memory was fragmented, the emotions were clear, an exhilarating mix of freedom and loneliness, of rebellion and hidden yearning. Compelled by these recollections, I booked a flight to the city where Celeste Residences was located. I told myself it was merely to understand this pattern, to piece together the puzzle of my midnight habits. Yet, as the departure day approached, I felt a stirring deep within, a strange combination of anxiety and anticipation that I had never experienced before. It was as if the journey was calling me not just to observe, but to live anew. Upon arriving in the city, I rented a modest car and drove through the neon-lit streets, the rain washing over the pavement in shimmering rivulets. I finally reached Celeste Residences, a towering building with a facade of mirrored glass that reflected the city's restless energy. I checked in under my own name, my heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and a desperate desire for answers. The lobby was a sanctuary of modern luxury, a quiet, unassuming space with soft instrumental music and discreet staff who moved with a professionalism that belied the building's glamorous exterior. That night, as I wandered the quiet corridors, memories of past escapes swirled in my mind. I remembered how, in a previous visit, I had found solace in the privacy of a midnight hotel room, a space where the world outside faded into insignificance. I recalled the feeling of absolute freedom as I sat by the window, watching the city's lights blur into a soft tapestry against the dark sky. It was a freedom that came with a price: loneliness, vulnerability, and a gnawing sense of something missing. As the clock struck midnight, I found myself drawn to the hotel bar, a hidden oasis of dim lights and hushed conversation. I ordered a glass of red wine and settled into a secluded corner, letting the silence envelop me. It was in that quiet moment that I noticed something peculiar: an email notification on my phone from an unknown sender with the subject line, "Celestial Invitation." With a hesitant tap, I opened the email. It read, "Tonight, discover the beauty in the shadows. Join us for an intimate rendezvous. Details enclosed. Code, Luna." Attached was a digital brochure that described a secret event at a high-end club in the heart of the city, a club that promised exclusivity, art, and clandestine encounters under the cover of midnight. The language was evocative and mysterious, promising an evening of soulful connection and the unveiling of hidden desires. I felt a thrill of recognition. Was this the same invitation that had set my pattern in motion? Could it be that I had subconsciously subscribed to a life where every midnight held the potential for transformation? Unable to resist the pull, I replied with a single word, "Yes." Almost instantly, a confirmation email arrived with further instructions: a meeting time, a discreet location, and a reminder to bring nothing but an open heart. I tucked my phone away and allowed the wine to calm my nerves as I contemplated the irony. I had been living these midnight escapes as if by habit, never realizing that they were messages from a part of me yearning to break free. Now, the invitation offered a chance to reclaim that lost fragment of my soul. After finishing my drink, I left the bar and made my way through rain-slicked streets toward the designated venue. The club, known as Nocturne, was a jewel hidden among the city's labyrinthine alleyways, a place where the elite mingled with the mysterious, and where every corner promised a new secret. I entered with cautious excitement. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with energy, soft, ambient lighting, the murmur of intimate conversations, and a playlist that blended soulful jazz with modern electronica. I found a quiet seat near a window and observed the crowd. Faces were lit by the soft glow of table lamps, couples whispered over glasses of champagne, and, in the distance, the DJ orchestrated a hypnotic rhythm that seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of the night. It wasn't long before I noticed someone watching me. A man with dark, thoughtful eyes and a gentle smile approached with the ease of familiarity. "I noticed you checking your phone earlier," he said softly, his voice carrying the warmth of shared secrets. "I'm Orion. I, too, have been receiving these mysterious confirmations." His words sent a jolt through me. We spoke quietly, sharing fragments of our stories, the unexpected email confirmations, the thrill of midnight hotel stays, and the sense that our lives were being guided by forces beyond our understanding. In that conversation, I began to see that I was not alone. There was a hidden community of souls who had discovered, perhaps inadvertently, that life was richer when we allowed ourselves to escape the confines of the ordinary. Our conversation lasted for hours, punctuated by the subtle rhythms of the club and the shared silence of kindred spirits. Orion explained that he had been tracking these email confirmations for some time, noting that they seemed to follow a distinct pattern, each one leading to an opulent hotel, a secret getaway, or an intimate rendezvous that promised transformation. He had learned to decode the clues embedded in the messages, the specific language, the confirmation codes, even the timestamps, and had begun to piece together a hidden network of midnight escapes. As he spoke, I realized that my own pattern of late-night hotel stays, the secret retreats I had kept hidden even from myself, was part of a larger tapestry woven by a community of individuals yearning for liberation from the mundane. In that moment, I felt a surge of emotion, gratitude for the unexpected connection, and a fierce determination to uncover the deeper meaning behind these puzzling emails. Orion and I exchanged contact information, promising to keep in touch and to share our discoveries. I left Knocktown that night with a renewed sense of purpose and a mind abuzz with possibilities. The email confirmation that had once seemed like a random glitch was now a portal into a secret world, a world where every midnight escape was an act of rebellion, an affirmation of life's hidden potential. In the weeks that followed, my life began to shift in subtle, profound ways. Each time I received a puzzling email confirmation for a getaway, I felt an electric thrill, an acknowledgement from a hidden part of my psyche that longed for something more than the monotonous script I had followed for so long. I started keeping a detailed log in my journal, recording the dates, times, and details of every midnight hotel stay, every secret retreat. Slowly, a pattern emerged. It wasn't random at all. Each email carried a distinct signature. The sender was always Phoenix Escapes, the confirmation codes were cryptic yet consistent, and the getaways were always booked for the early hours, just after midnight, when the world seemed to slip into another dimension of possibility. I began to analyze these patterns with a mix of scientific curiosity and emotional intensity. Late at night, when the city was quiet and my thoughts were unburdened by the demands of the day, I would pore over my entries. I noticed that the locations of the hotels spanned different cities, sometimes in exotic locales, other times in bustling metropolitan centers. There was an almost poetic symmetry to it all, a secret itinerary that I had unwittingly followed over months, perhaps years. I recalled that each getaway had left me with a sense of liberation, a feeling of being both hidden and exposed, free yet vulnerable. They were nights of transformation, where the veneer of my ordinary life was peeled away to reveal raw, unfiltered emotions. One particularly memorable confirmation arrived on a chilly November evening. The email was elegantly formatted with subtle hints of gold and midnight blue, and it confirmed a getaway at Aurora Residences, a luxurious hotel in a city I had never visited before. The subject line read, "Your midnight escape awaits." As I read through the details, the check-in time of 12:05 a.m., the private room reserved under my first name, and the promise of a tranquil interlude, I felt as though the email was speaking directly to a part of me I had long silenced. I could almost hear a whisper, "Come, rediscover yourself." That night, I booked the getaway with a trembling hand, a decision that felt both inevitable and profoundly liberating. At Aurora Residences, I experienced a night that would forever alter my perception of freedom. I checked in with a mix of trepidation and excitement, and as I stepped into the hotel lobby, I was enveloped in an atmosphere of refined elegance. The lobby was adorned with soft lighting, rich textures, and the quiet murmur of discreet conversations. I ascended to my room, a spacious, tastefully decorated suite with floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a panoramic view of the city's twinkling lights. As midnight approached, I sat by the window with a glass of wine, gazing out at the nocturnal vista. The quiet beauty of that moment, combined with the secret thrill of being somewhere entirely on my own, stirred emotions that I had long suppressed. I felt as if I were on the brink of rediscovering a version of myself that had been hidden beneath layers of routine and restraint. In the days after that getaway, I couldn't stop thinking about the recurring theme, the inexplicable desire to escape into the night, to seek refuge in the anonymity of luxurious hotel rooms, and to lose myself in intimate moments that defied the boundaries of my everyday existence. I began to wonder if these midnight escapes were more than mere indulgences. They were messages, coded signals from a part of me that yearned for reinvention. The puzzling email confirmations, with their elegant design and evocative language, were like keys unlocking doorways to secret realms of emotion and possibility. Compelled by this realization, I reached out to a trusted friend, a fellow soul who had always been intrigued by the mysteries of life. Over coffee one rainy afternoon, I confided in her about the hidden pattern of midnight hotel stays, the secret email confirmations, and the intense emotions they stirred within me. Her eyes widened with a mixture of curiosity and concern as she listened. "Maybe," she suggested softly, "these escapes are a way for you to reconnect with a part of yourself you've been neglecting, a part that craves beauty, passion, and a sense of adventure." Her words resonated deeply, and for the first time, I began to see my midnight getaways not as acts of escapism, but as courageous endeavors to reclaim a lost identity. In the following months, I took a more deliberate approach. I began to schedule my own midnight escapes, not as impulsive acts of rebellion, but as mindful explorations of what it meant to live fully. I researched hotels renowned for their ambience, chose destinations that resonated with my deepest desires, and even started to plan itineraries that balanced solitude with the promise of human connection. Each trip was different, a secluded mountain resort where I spent quiet hours by a crackling fire, a chic urban hotel where I wandered through art galleries and rooftop bars, and even a coastal retreat where the sound of the ocean merged with the whisper of the night. With each experience, I kept a detailed journal, chronicling not just the logistics of my escapes, but the inner journey they catalyzed. One such escape took me to a historic hotel in a city known for its old-world charm and vibrant cultural life. I arrived at midnight and checked into a room that overlooked a narrow cobblestone street, its ancient architecture bathed in the soft glow of street lamps. That night, I wandered the hotel corridors and discovered a hidden lounge where a few other guests lingered in quiet contemplation. There, I struck up a conversation with a man named Thomas, a kindred spirit with a quiet demeanor and eyes that held the weight of unspoken stories. Over glasses of rich, velvety red wine, we spoke of our pasts, our regrets, and the longing to break free from the chains of expectation. His gentle words and empathetic silence helped me understand that my midnight escapes were not acts of self-destruction, but moments of profound self-discovery, a way to reclaim my autonomy in a world that often demanded conformity. Each new email confirmation, each secret booking, reaffirmed my hidden pattern and gradually transformed it from a series of isolated escapes into a coherent narrative of liberation. I began to view the puzzling email as a catalyst, an external validation of the internal shifts that had been taking place for years. It was as if the universe had chosen to reveal my secret desire for autonomy and passion through these digital missives, compelling me to embrace a life that was raw, unfiltered, and deeply authentic. Yet, amid the newfound exhilaration, there were moments of sorrow and introspection. I started to question the cost of living a double life. My friends, my family, even my colleagues had no inkling of the secret world I now inhabited. I often wondered if I was losing touch with reality or if these midnight getaways were simply a necessary part of my evolution. There were nights when I would lie awake, haunted by the thought that I was running away from something rather than towards a new beginning. But each time, I would remind myself that the path of self-discovery was never linear, that it was paved with both joy and heartache, with every secret rendezvous serving as both a farewell to the old and a welcome to the new. Determined to reconcile these conflicting emotions, I began to document my journey in more intimate detail. I recorded every nuance of my midnight escapes, the cool touch of hotel linens, the scent of rain on city pavements, the soft murmur of strangers in a lobby, and gradually, a picture emerged of a woman who was unafraid to seek beauty in every corner of life. I even started to experiment with my own creations, mixing essential oils and crafting small vials of custom fragrances that captured the essence of my escapes. Each blend was a tribute to a particular night, a memory encapsulated in a scent that could evoke the warmth of a fleeting touch or the bittersweet ache of a passing moment. One evening, after returning from a particularly poignant getaway in a seaside town, I received a new email confirmation. The subject line read, "Your next journey, Twilight Rendezvous." The email was elegant, with delicate calligraphy and a background of softly fading pastel hues. It confirmed a booking at an opulent hotel in a city renowned for its cosmopolitan allure, a city where the nights were alive with music, art, and the promise of connection. As I read the email, a wave of both excitement and apprehension washed over me. I realized that my pattern was now undeniable, that my secret escapes were not random acts of impulsive rebellion but deliberate journeys toward self-realization. I felt a profound responsibility for the life I was leading, a life that demanded authenticity, passion, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. That night, I embarked on my next journey with a mixture of cautious optimism and a deep-seated hunger for change. I checked into the luxurious hotel, a modern palace with sprawling balconies, shimmering pools, and private lounges that exuded exclusivity. At midnight, I wandered through the corridors, my footsteps echoing softly against polished floors, until I found myself in a secluded lounge that overlooked a vast cityscape. The lights below sparkled like a constellation of hopes, and I felt as though I was suspended in time, caught between the quiet solitude of introspection and the electrifying promise of connection. There, I encountered a woman named Sabrina, whose presence was both mysterious and inviting. Over the course of the evening, Sabrina and I shared our stories, the hidden truths behind our midnight escapes, the dreams that had been buried beneath layers of routine, and the longing to reclaim a sense of wonder in a world that often felt devoid of magic. Sabrina spoke of a past filled with both loss and liberation, of nights spent in the anonymity of luxurious hotel rooms where the only sound was the quiet hum of a secret life. Her words resonated with me on a level I had never anticipated, and in her eyes I saw the reflection of a woman unafraid to embrace her true self. As the night unfolded, every moment seemed to shimmer with significance. Every discreet email confirmation, every carefully planned booking, was a thread in a tapestry of self-discovery, a tapestry that revealed the intricate interplay between our hidden desires and the constraints of conventional life. I realized that my pattern of midnight hotel stays was not something to be ashamed of, but a testament to my unyielding quest for freedom, creativity, and authentic connection. In the weeks and months that followed, I continued to embrace these secret getaways. I learned to savor each experience, to view it as both an escape from the suffocating demands of the everyday and a celebration of the untapped potential within me. I began to experiment with new ways of connecting with others, arranging discreet rendezvous with kindred spirits, sharing the subtle language of fragrances and whispered confessions, and even organizing small gatherings where the only rule was to live in the moment. My life, once confined to the predictable rhythms of routine, had blossomed into a mosaic of midnight adventures and intimate escapes. I started to share my journey, slowly and cautiously, with a select few who had long suspected that there was more to me than the quiet exterior I presented each day. Some listened with rapt attention, others with a mix of astonishment and empathy, and a few even confessed that they, too, had felt the pull of secret escapes at night. These conversations, raw and unfiltered, helped me realize that I was not alone in my desire to break free, a revelation that strengthened my resolve to continue exploring this hidden facet of my identity. One particularly transformative moment came during a cold winter's night when I received an email confirmation that felt especially poignant. The subject read, "Midnight Oasis, your escape awaits." The email detailed a booking at an ancient hotel steeped in history, a place known for its enchanting corridors, secret gardens, and the soft murmurs of voices that had echoed through its halls for centuries. As I read the email, I felt an overwhelming sense of destiny, as though this getaway was not merely another escape but the culmination of all my secret desires. That night, I checked into the historic hotel and allowed myself to wander its labyrinthine corridors, each step a discovery of hidden alcoves, faded portraits, and quiet nooks that whispered of bygone eras. In a secluded courtyard illuminated by the soft glow of antique lanterns, I sat for hours, writing in my journal and allowing the night to fill me with a bittersweet blend of nostalgia and hope. These midnight escapes gradually became the cornerstone of my transformation. I learned to trust in the magic of the unknown, to see beauty in the interplay of light and shadow, and to understand that every discreet email confirmation was a gentle reminder that life was far too precious to be lived in the confines of routine. I began to explore my passions with a newfound intensity, taking up painting, rekindling old friendships, and even daring to dream of a future unburdened by fear. The secret pattern of midnight hotel stays, once a hidden habit, had become a symbol of my liberation, a testament to the fact that sometimes, the most profound journeys begin with a single, puzzling message in your inbox. As I continue to walk this path, every new email confirmation is a call to adventure, a chance to embrace the unknown and to let go of the limitations that have defined me for so long. I have learned that the true beauty of life lies not in the safety of predictability but in the risk of exploration, in the willingness to step into a realm where intimacy, passion, and mystery converge to create moments of unforgettable transformation. Today, I look back on that first puzzling email, the one that exposed my hidden pattern of midnight hotel stays, and I feel both gratitude and a quiet wonder. It was the catalyst that set me on a journey of self-discovery, a journey that continues to evolve with every discreet message, every secret rendezvous, and every intimate evening that unfolds under the cloak of night. I am no longer content to merely exist. I strive to live fully, to embrace every secret, every whisper of possibility that comes my way. And so, my journey continues. Every time I receive an unexpected confirmation for a getaway, every time I book a midnight escape without a second thought, I am reminded that there is a part of me that is wild, free, and unapologetically alive. I carry these experiences with me like precious treasures, reminders of a life that refuses to be confined by convention. The puzzling email confirmations have become the language of my transformation, a secret code that unlocks hidden chambers of the heart and invites me to explore the depths of who I truly am. As I write these words now, in the soft glow of dusk, I know that my life is a tapestry woven with threads of courage, vulnerability, and the relentless pursuit of authenticity. Every discreet email, every midnight hotel stay, is a testament to the fact that sometimes, the most extraordinary journeys begin with the smallest, most puzzling of messages, a message that dares you to break free and to embrace the unknown.